Can we all come ahead? Because this hall is almost empty. And I think the AC has started. I can feel a little cool. Please come ahead, please come ahead. I can't even see the faces of the people in the back. I can see some silhouettes right behind that frame. I can see 4 or 5 heads. That's all I can see. Please come ahead. Yeah, I can only see silhouettes. I can't see people. I think they've cut card paper and kept it there. I can see a pair of spectacles. Is that Pushpak? Are you hiding your blue t-shirt? Please come ahead. We are embarrassed now already. It's okay. Now because Aditya is not going to talk about himself, I will talk about Aditya so he can talk about us. Aditya is one of the first members of the WordPress community in India when it started forming. One of the first. I'm not saying the first. The first is Alex. The first is Alex. We're all second, third, fourth, that kind of numbers. And he's a deputy with WordCamp Central. It's just a fancy name.
Now he's a super deputy.
Oh, he's a super deputy, which is a fancier name for somebody who works even harder, slogs for all of us so that we can have WordCamps. We and the others.
And meetups.
And meetups, yes.
I think Andy works the most amongst all the volunteers and stuff.
Yeah, Andy is a deputy as well, and Alex is a deputy as well, which means that I should just hide under the table and let them talk.
So Andy works full time on community.
I'm a happiness engineer at Automatic, the company behind WordPress.com. But I got started in the WordPress community volunteering at WordCamps.
And how many WordPress WordCamps have you been?
Oh god, somewhere in the range of 24 or so. I stopped counting a while ago. 24.
And this. And Alex, he's been an organizer at WordCamp Mumbai for the last 2 years in 2020.
No, I'm even an organizer this year, so the third year. I'm an organizer.
We get so in 2014 and 15, he's been the lead organizer. This year, he's taken a step back. So, Sanat, where is he? So, that guy is the lead organizer. He will be heading.
He's the man in charge.
He's the man in charge. So, if something goes wrong, he's the guy.
No, you can still pick on me. I am used to it. I have a thick skin.
Yeah. So, how many of you are from outside Pune or Mumbai? So, how many of you have been to a first? For whom is this the first WordCamp? Like the first one. And have you spoken to anyone at a WordCamp and asked about organizing one in your city or having meetups? So I think we've spoken of one. So why do we have meetups? That's a question that I get asked all the time.
So, the WordPress community is huge online, right? So, we can learn a lot from each other. We can talk to people all over the world. But in order to really do well and to succeed, you need to know people, and you need to meeting people that are in your area that can become resources that you can refer clients to or learn from is invaluable. And meeting in person, there's just no experience that can surpass that, I think.
And why do we have meetups? Like, what are meetups? What does it give to you?
Simply put, it's just meet up. So primarily what we do is just meet each other up. But what happened was initially we tried that. We tried having just a meetup. People would come, people who like WordPress would come, sit together, have a coffee, chat with each other. But after a while we realized that doesn't work by itself. What started happening is people wanted one more reason to come. Simply meeting enough wasn't good. So what we started doing is started having talks and sessions like we're having at this WordCamp. What started happening is the sessions were just an excuse. Post the session, what a meetup does is, I don't know, I have met so many WordPress people in my life. I have worked at Aditya that exposes me to a lot of people all around the world. But apart from that, I did not know there were so many people who work with WordPress in Pune, freelancers especially, because you never interact with them in a company, in a corporate atmosphere. I didn't know there were so many of them until we started doing the meetups. We've had full houses at times, like people sitting on desks because there are not enough chairs, people standing here and there because we don't have enough chairs. The first meetup had 13 people, the second had 4 people. But now it's usually 20-30 people, and all we do is talk.
So what Saurabh said, meeting people, you really get exposed to who's who and what others are doing. Alright, online you could reach out, probably there is a community, you have a Facebook group or you have some kind of forum or IRC chat, and you meet and you make friends over a period of time. But this whole face-to-face interaction, or someone you know, oh, he stays in Malad, he stays so close to my house and he's into WordPress. I can like go over to his place and we can like spend some time and discuss stuff, we can like solve issues, all those kind of things. Though that is worth more than anything. I remember the first real meetup that I attended, or which was like beyond my friend circle of people who I already knew. So we did meetups since like what, Jan 2013. We've been doing meetups in Bombay since then. Alright, we did one just before WordCamp Baroda 2013, and where we planned out how we are going to go there. Now. That was like, those were all meetups within our friend circle, people who we knew. We invited them, they invited some others, but most of them we knew. But then there was the 10th anniversary meetup, where there were 10th anniversary WordCamp meetups, WordPress meetups everywhere. And we had a meetup in Bombay. There I met a whole new crowd. I met Amit Sharma, who spoke at WordCamp. I met Vachan. Vachan is like a co-member of our team, and I met him. I met Sahil. I met so many guys who I didn't think like were there in WordPress, who were as passionate about WordPress as me. Then there was this guy from Thane who was developing themes. I didn't know all these people. So meetups do help me reach out and know new people.
So it helps you work, it helps you know.
Yeah.
Work. Yeah.
In fact, when you asked, if you notice, all 3 of us did not give you a specific reason that we have meetups. We gave you a lot of things that we see in a meetup. So if you ask me the purpose of a meetup, I think they're as purposeless as what we do with WordPress. We do whatever we feel like with WordPress, we do whatever we feel like with a meetup, because that's what communities are for. If we come with a specific purpose, as in if we say a meetup is there because a meetup does this, that doesn't happen. What we do is we say there's a meetup, come, people just drop in. Whoever I've not met, I have the people who came to every meetup in Pune are actually the organizers of this WordCamp. But otherwise, we've seen different people at every meetup.
So one of the things that you guys who are from outside Pune, people from Pune, there's a meetup going on. Just subscribe to the website and keep attending those meetups.
We don't have a website.
Sorry, the meetup.com group, and keep attending the meetups. These are monthly meetups or weekly meetups. Sometimes weekly, sometimes monthly, sometimes fortnightly.
We don't have it frequently. We have it whenever.
So yeah, so whenever they're free. And in Mumbai we have a monthly meetup. That's you can look it up on wpmumbai.org, and you can. So outside Mumbai, yeah, go on. So outside Mumbai, one of the things that I would advise you to do is to look at, rather than ask people from Mumbai and Pune or at WordCamps how to organize a meetup, ask somebody in your city. Like just go meet somewhere, announce it on a Facebook group or on as a Facebook India group, facebook.com/group/WP Hub. Yeah, so search for WordPress India on Facebook, and you just post your event out there, and people should be able to come to your meetup. that should get you started. So don't ask people from outside your city how to start meetups. Do it yourself. Yeah.
So the prerequisite, like we noted, which wasn't there earlier. So recently, a prerequisite for hosting a WordCamp in your city is to have a regular, frequent meetup scene happening. Is there a particular reason that is stressed upon?
What is the reason?
Is there a reason that a city needs to have regular meetups? Because earlier we've had WordCamps without having meetups.
Yeah, so the reason that was instituted is that we found that the most successful WordCamps were put on by a group of people who met regularly. If you don't have an active community to organize your WordCamp, it might happen once and then it might never happen again. If you don't have an active community, you don't have people to necessarily pull volunteers from. So it's all about, WordCamps are all about sort of growing the local community. So if you don't have a community to start with, people will meet once a year and then potentially never talk to each other again.
I want to finish my other half of the question. The other half of the question is that we've seen, especially in India, that some of the WordCamps were organized by people who actually haven't had meetups. But those WordCamps themselves have helped kickstart the community in their cities, not just in their cities, but in different parts of India. Shouldn't we be also, at least in places like India, shouldn't we allow some WordCamps at least without an active meetup scenario, initially at least? Shouldn't we promote that? Should we encourage that?
So there have been exceptions made to that. It's not a hard and fast rule. So if there is a good case to have a WordCamp and you think that the event will help foster that community, you can definitely apply and we'll have a conversation about it. But for the most part, we've talked to organizers from cities all over the world that have done that, and in the majority of cases that hasn't happened. It may happen in certain cases depending on a local community, which is like I said, if you are really passionate about that, about doing it that way, definitely submit an application anyway, and we'll definitely have a conversation.
You had a question?
No, I wanted to add to the same thing, but I think Saurabh already touched upon it, right? So what I was saying, in India, right, WordPress ecosystem was actually built by first series of WordCamps that happened, people getting dissatisfied from those experiences, coming together, and today the WordCamp Pune, that is actually a result of like 3 years of WordCamps, some good, some bad, people getting dissatisfied, active meetups dying out, but that's exactly how this has happened here in India, right? So I would actually suggest allowing it at least once in new city without a meetup, because at least in this country, that's the first time a lot of people meet, and that's when the community builds, and then regular meetups happen. I mean, ask these guys, they all meet up actually in a WordCamp first time.
I would like to ask the audience how many have actually come to a meetup or a WordCamp for the first time. That's okay. Considering that they've come for a discussion on the WordPress community, that's surprising. There are a lot of people in this room as well. How many of you have heard of WordPress for the first time? We still have one or two that haven't heard of WordPress. In fact, in today's 405 people, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people who actually came to know that there's something called as WordPress for the first time in a WordCamp, and that happens quite frequently in India. That we've noticed. I think Alex would agree. So, would it help to have? I mean, we know you're not the person to blame, but just trying to understand. Would it help? Would it make more sense for us to have more meetups to cure that and then have a WordCamp? Or should WordCamp be used as a cure? For example, you have a common cold, should we put in an antibiotic, or we should bear the cold for 7 days and then have plenty of water or something? Should we look at these short-term fixes by having WordCamps, or should we actually focus on building a community by having multiple meetups?
Can I answer that? So, a very simple reason to have meetups is to meet people who can become lead organizers in your group, and they are not working with you because let's say I'm busy tomorrow, I won't be there I won't be organizing the WordCamp, I might ignore things, I might not be interested, I might get run over by a bus, who knows. So for instance in Mumbai, you have Sanat, who's someone we met through a meetup. We have no idea, I had no idea who he was, but he joined the meetup, he showed up, he volunteered, then we thought let's step away from organizing, and he's an organizer. And maybe next year we won't be even involved at all. So that's the reason why you should have meetups, so that you can have a more distributed sort of source of people that can sort of host your meetups, WordCamps, etc. And that's how WordPress works, right? Distributed. Somebody has a question? Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
Hi, my name is Rahul. Okay, talking about meetups, where I run education services for colleges. Okay, where when I go to colleges and different colleges, people don't know even about open source. What is open source? So why don't you take this meetup to colleges as well, to the common students who are not aware of even the open source thing. Even students are still confused that what is Linux, what is all that things. Okay, I've been associated with a lot of people like Naman who help us, and Mozilla representatives and a lot of people. So why not WordPress? Go to different colleges and have meetups around it and create an awareness about it. It's one of the initiatives we do with a lot of people. So why not that?
I would like to answer that because
my name is Rahul.
What's it?
Something at a college.
At a college. So because Pune somehow is the educational hub, there are a lot of colleges. Thing is, the community is still very new. We're very nascent. We just started. Like this is the second time a WordCamp is happening in Pune. Now the next year will be the third time a WordCamp is happening in Mumbai, and there is an active community scene only in Pune and Mumbai. So we just started. For example, this WordCamp, we gave out tickets for a discount to students, and I would say that about 150 to 200 people attending this WordCamp are students who probably attending a WordCamp or a meetup for the first time, and probably they're learning about WordPress for the first time. So we started that, but it takes some time.
I'll answer this question from a more top kind of a way. Alright. So if you are talking about doing workshops at colleges and schools and all those kind of things, people do that. A lot of individuals go ahead, organize, or colleges approach other users and people go. There are like different groups. So there is like how you pointed out to Mozilla as an example. They have a student ambassador where they talk about open source and all these projects. But within the WordPress community, it's still, the idea is still getting developed. So we have one module where we have this whole community thing. But learning and training is something that has started probably like 3-4 months back. There are tutorials being built. If you go on to Slack, Slack is the place where a lot of these WordPress guys, we communicate with each other. So there's a WordPress.org Slack account which you can create, and out there is a learning team as well. They have a meetup, they have like a weekly meet where they discuss what kind of modules they worked on. Those things are still in a planning stage and will come out probably in some months or probably a year's time, who knows. But it depends on volunteers and other people. So probably that would come down and trickle down and we might have something in the future. But there's no instant fix for this. The instant fix could be the meetups could be a space to do this and someone from the meetup can take up this responsibility. That could be it. But volunteers, people from the community need to take that. WordPress community does come out and do a lot of contribution. This is one way to contribute. Probably people could take it up.
Is it also a challenge to have these meetups in
Yeah, just adding to your question about the taking it into the academic sphere is that I can speak on behalf of Mumbai. Actually, in what we're trying to do is it's not only limited to Mumbai; it's across everywhere. It's about the community. Now, if someone has to organize a workshop or an event or a training institute, who do they go and ask for it, right? If the college wouldn't do it themselves because they would ask someone to do it for them. So the only way they can do it is if there's a community that is existing in your city. So that's where the whole concept of this entire agenda of this is that only that you build a community, and when you have an active community in your city or in your locality is when the college will have a point of contact to come and ask for the session or a training or such kind of a event for them, you know. So the core being having an active community in your locality.
Because today itself we were talking, Suryavanshi ma'am, I was talking to, so that we will start having workshops for students of modern college, because a lot of them came to us, said we want to learn WordPress in a better way. Now we have so many experts in the community. The problem here is that business is tough. The business is tough, right? The CEOs, etc., the experts that we have other things to do as well. So it might not always work out that, you know, everybody has the kind of time and resources and dedication that is required to actually go ahead, plan and execute these training activities. Because frankly speaking, the software is free. All the resources are online. There is a lot of people can't imagine that this can be profitable unless there is a profitability in the training part of it. I don't know how it will work. We're trying, but let's see how it works.
I just have a couple of things to add. We spoke about Mozilla, right? So similarly, we just started the Bangalore WordPress chapter, and I was talking to the guys about that. GDG, the Google Developer Groups, right? We had the similar thing. I was in Belgaum, I was in a tier 2 city until 2 months ago, and we grew a lot of students over there. The problems we saw over there, students stay during the academic years and then they leave. And they don't continue on the same fronts. Like, you know, you don't find them having the same level of engagement after they join a professional career. Like you said, they don't have time. CEOs, forget CEOs, developers themselves don't have time. And how many of them actually want to volunteer at the end of the day to do something like this? That changes after they leave college. My question over here, no, I'm just saying, not everybody, most of them I've seen this happen.
But introducing someone to WordPress, you shouldn't have a clause or expectation.
Right, absolutely,
that
no. It's not about that. So my question was this, so when we start the community, right, we're not saying we're inclusive of everybody. Our whole community was based on students. So we saw this main problem that very few developers in the city, so how do we grow it after that? Experts, we talk about experts from the city. So my question was this, that what are the best practices in terms of WordPress? Because Google, we get a lot of, from other chapters, successful chapters. And these are not Google chapters, these are Google developer groups. They are irrespective of Google. Google just supports them because they are using Google technologies. So are there any best practices? Do you have any kind of, what works, what does not? City-wise, yes, we will get the people to get involved, yes. But do you know, because you've been in this for a while now.
See, one of the things that we've realized, one of the things that we realized is that to start a community or start a meetup group or just call people for the first time is actually pretty easy. You asking me how do we sustain? You asking us how do we sustain that? How do we grow this further? That is a challenge. There are best practices recommended by the foundation. The WordPress Foundation does they do a lot of studies, a lot of analysis. They have a lot of information, a lot of knowledge that comes to us. The problem is the social and the cultural way that we behave with each other is very different from the Western experience. So what works for them doesn't work for us. It actually doesn't. I can't say about the other meetup groups because I know there's a group in Bangalore, I've been following it. I was wondering why the Bangalore group has not applied for a WordCamp yet, because it looks very vibrant somehow on meetup.com. I've seen a Bangalore meetup group, WordPress meetup group.
Okay, so that's what, even we don't know, there are many. There are many groups which were not official groups, but they were all WordPress guys.
Yeah.
But then I didn't know about it, so I went there, I looked up all the groups. None of them, same issue, there's nothing happening.
So basically now what I would say is, I don't know, the meetup group in Pune, the meetup group in Mumbai, we're experimenting a lot of things. We've tried different things, we've tried informal meetups, we've tried chai pe charcha as in call people on tea or coffee. We've tried formal sessions, we've tried discussions. We've tried everything that you see at this WordCamp. Every session, every discussion that you see at a WordCamp has had some initiation in the meetup group. So we are experimenting, they're experimenting, we're coming up with data, we're collecting data, we're coming up with solutions, we're studying it, we're figuring it out. It's going to take us time, but right now that question is unanswerable according to me. We'll only find out in probably, say, we are a year old, they are 3 years old. 2 years.
Okay.
So that's just 2 and 1 year is like, we can't count them, we count them as days in a community's timeline. It will take some time. And as more meetup groups come up, once more meetup groups start, we'll have more data. Right now, we work with 20-40 people every meetup, they work with 20-40 people every meetup. With time, we'll work with thousands, and we have 500 people here, we've recorded.
There are successful meetups in the West where
Yes.
there are 150 people attending.
So the 500 people who attended this WordCamp, we have their ages, we have the level of expertise. We asked you in the ticket whether you're beginners, intermediate, advanced users, do you work as a developer, as a user, as a manager. So now we're getting into the psyche of our community, trying to understand what our community likes, the kind of people we are, and then shape our plan accordingly. What works for us, then yeah, we might figure out, but like I said, it's just like a day or two. A year or two is just like a day or two in a community's timeline. We still have time. I'm just 33. Because Andy comes from the experience where meetups are actually successful. So he can mostly give us some perspective.
So, as I was listening to your talk, I was thinking, yeah, that sounds very familiar, because every meetup group that I have been involved with, you always struggle a little bit at the beginning to find your community and find out, what your community is after, and it's really just a matter of throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. So you want to communicate with the people who do come at first, find out, who are the people that are coming? Are they mostly beginners? Are they mostly developers? Do they prefer lecture style talks? Do they prefer sitting around a table and talking? There's no one true way to have a meetup, and like you were saying, there's nothing that we can really say that's going to be 3 steps to have a successful meetup. It's try everything you can and keep at it until you find something.
So. Sorry. No, one more thing I wanted to add was that so as you start, like for example, we started with this informal meetup. The first thing that we had was WordPress recipes, I think, right? The first meetup we had was WordPress recipes, where we came and we spoke about, can this be built with WordPress, what would we need, etc. So we did that. That was okay because the first one. The next time we did something similar, and only 4 people turned up. So we knew people are not interested in this. We have had lectures and talks. Some of them work, some of them don't. We've tried different things. So now we're realizing that people tend to like more interactive stuff. So we try to cut down on talks. We've started more workshops, but that may not be true everywhere. That probably is just true because 11 of us are there at every meetup. So 11 is a huge voice. So if 11 of us feel something should happen, it happens. Second thing I've seen is that once somebody comes to the first meetup and comes to the second meetup, they have an idea of what they want. For example, is Shiva in this room? Yeah, Shiva is there. Now Shiva is somebody that we didn't know anything about. We didn't know there's a Shiva Abraham in this world, and she exists. She came to the first meetup, she came to the second meetup, she came to every meetup. She's now on HeroPress, she's a WordCamp organizer. So she's come from the very beginning to if we say in the community, being an organizer is a matter of prestige. So she's reached there. Now she's somebody we've picked up a lot of things from. What does she like? She was a freelancer. She says things were Greek and Latin when she started, but now things make sense to her. Similarly, we've had people who come and say, you do a lot of technical talks. We want more business talks. We want more beginner talks. We don't want people to talk to us. We want to. So that has also happened. So if you're collecting feedback, if you become a meetup group, it's a good idea to keep it open for people to suggest. So the ideal pattern is that let anybody suggest a meetup. Anybody who wants to have a meetup under your group, as in the umbrella of your group, should be able to do that. It should not be just the organizers who are organizing everything. If you do that, if you keep it really open source and let people organize their own meetups, as long as 3 people or 2 people turn up and have coffee, it's fine. So in a city in a month, maybe you would have just one formal meetup. Let's say you organize one. But what is the harm in having 30 meetups on 30 days between 3 people? It still makes sense because you're still getting more data, more feedback, understanding what's going on. Maybe sooner or later figure out.
And the community overall is pretty helpful. See, like when I met you, I introduced you to say a few other people from Bangalore who I thought you should speak to and who can be part of your meetup. This is a discussion I had with others on Slack also. Can we do this kind of matchmaking? All these kind of things. See, there's nothing in it for us. We have nothing to gain from you having a successful meetup in your city. But yeah, we get to go to another WordCamp. That is one good thing. But over and above that, if there's a good meetup happening, that there's a potential WordCamp, fine. But over and above, it's just a good thing which we would like to do for you, man.
No,
we are
so-
all friends at the end
Right,
of the day.
right. So
we would
question-
like you to connect.
I think-
so. You connect to these people and do what you think works for all of you.
I think-
all find a solution
I
together.
think to an extent, meetups is considered to be very hierarchical. Like somebody comes, trains you,
Yeah,
and we grow up like that because
those are workshops.
you
more
don't
than
speak up to
meetups,
your
actually.
parents. You don't tell your parents you're wrong. In India, at least. So we grow up like that, right? That's like a cultural thing. So
We have to-
essentially, we expect some sort of training,
Authority figure.
authority figure, right? So we need some sort of authority. Like this guy says that this is WordPress, this is WordPress.
So somebody who can drive the whole meetup group so that
No, we
everybody
don't want to.
So
do that. That's what
we don't
happens.
want to do that.
That's what
That's what
happens.
happens.
So if
So there
because
is this
if that
whole-
authority figure is no longer around or no longer interested, the group is gone. Same way as a college. Like for instance, I think the problem with colleges and meetups is that there is a lot of teacher and student kind of concept. And if that is not there, like at work, you learn from your colleagues. You don't learn from a boss or a
I
teacher.
think Saurabh actually most of the points which I had in mind, I think you shed light on them.
No, I would like to add. So the word authority figure is, I gave you the wrong term. The right term was celebrity. So yeah, we have a culture of celebrity. So when we do something, we want someone to look up to. So we also did this initially. We wanted famous names to come and do stuff for us. We probably wanted that for WordCamp Pune as well. We did that. We did get celebrities. In fact, every speaker here is a celebrity in their own right. But we realized that what happens is people who come to an event or a meetup or something like that because there is somebody famous talking there are only interested in that famous person talking and then will go back and never come back. Whereas people, if it is more about, how do you say that, if you're not banking on celebrities but on concepts or on principles or on the knowledge that we can have together, then it works better. Celebrities draw the crowds but they don't sustain the crowd.
We'll take another question from the back there. Someone.
Okay, so I am not, I'm like adding things to Bangalore and other open source event what we are talking about. So he just asked me, he just asked the community, why don't we take it to college? So basically how open source works, if I talk about Google Developer Group, what he was talking about, Google Developer Group never have meetups. They have product launch, they have and they have sessions and everything. Like each and every, Mumbai also have Google Developer Group out here. We have cloud camping every year, each and everything, but it's a project launch. We never have like normal meetup. What we do in open source. Google is funded basically. If you are a part of it.
Fine, let's not get into
No, I'm not getting that. Okay, what I'm saying is, just let me take it in. Okay. So we are doing this event named SFD on 19th on this May of this month, I guess, and we contacted the WordPress community in Mumbai to join us. So we contacted each and every open source community. So if you are in any city and if you want to like add your open source community with yourself, so just I too contact them. I just asked Alex to join us and give a small workshop on WordPress on that day, and Alex was happily like, Alex was like, it's good to join. Like Alex was like, I will support the thing, SFD. So that's how whole open source community works. As a part of so many open source community, I'm suggesting this. I don't know what protocols has been followed because I'm like, I just look at each and every, like I have been with
WordPress from last 4 years with Alex. Then I'm now with DuckDuckGo and each and every open source community. That's why I'm talking about on this.
In fact, one more problem that we have is like, I don't know, Google Developers Group is a very specific group for Google developers. Whereas WordPress community is not that specific. It is,
No?
yeah.
So he has something to add.
First of all, let me say this. Every GDG event that I conducted in Belgaum, I've done a WordPress with workshop. Workshop with WordPress. Web development WordPress, I have it always at every session. So I've been pushing WordPress. And it's like, GDG does not mean you push only Google, and I think you have a misconception because you've seen that let's not get into why are you talking about that?
Let's get out of that. So
I think we've covered the points. Thank you very much, Saurabh. Let's move on to somebody
you
else.
want to speak more?
I will connect with him offline and please clear his doubts afterwards.
So the question we started with was, how do we organize a WordCamp in a city?
The best practices which you actually gave right in all of the points you made, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much covered. I think that's what if we connect offline with everybody else, like connect people and just do that.
Yeah, and there is a WordCamp pretty soon in Mumbai, so we'll have another opportunity to connect with a lot more people. And would you like to give us some insight into what we're trying to do and not getting there? Any insight, any observations? Because I think this is the first time you are in India.
Yes, this is definitely the first time I'm in India.
So looking at this WordCamp, this community, do you have any insights? Have you observed something that we should know? Because we don't have an outsider's perspective. We look at ourselves and we feel proud. But is there something that you see that we should?
Can't hear you, Saurabh.
Can't hear me. So my question to Andy is that being a part of this WordPress community in India, we don't have an outsider's perspective. We feel everything is great and we're such great people, such well-organized event. I'm so proud, etc. But because Andy, like he said, he's attended 24 WordCamps. You have more insights into communities. Do you have something for us? Have you seen or observed something?
So actually, what I've seen and I've observed is that all of the sort of pain points and frustrations and the successes are very similar to what I've seen in other WordCamps. So I don't know if there's a good answer for that question. Also, I had 30 hours of travel that ended about 12 hours ago, so my brain may not be functioning properly. So.
Is there something that you saw was different in India compared to any other WordCamp that you've seen maybe?
Honestly, what struck me at this WordCamp compared to other ones that I've been to is how much people are talking with each other and just approaching.
So yeah, we talk a lot basically. Andy just met me.
Alright. One of the things which Amit was talking about, so let's revisit that part. Like Amit was asking about why is WordCamp open to like doing a one city meetup WordCamp first before doing a full-fledged meetup in that city, probably a WordCamp which can seed meetups going further. Alright. My only concern with something like that, personally, what I saw when that was happening was that the same bunch of people were traveling from one WordCamp to another, and it was like a closed circuit which was happening. But what happens with a few celebrities for each of those WordCamps, which is probably why they probably died out after a point. Like someone organized a WordCamp in a city where they were studying, then they moved to Bombay, and that city never had another WordCamp. I won't take names now, but you all know which one I'm talking about. So these are things which happen, and it's that same bunch of people moving around. It's a good thing. There are some great friends I've made for life and all, but are we like not? We are closing out doors for a lot of people also, is what I felt. And what I thought when we started our meetups is we are like getting newer people. Like when we did our meetups in Bombay, we have people like Sanat, people like Vachan who have come into the fold. In Pune, it's people like Joshua, people like Shiva who have come into the fold. They are part of now the whole India community of WordCamps, but they are seated in the meetups. So the meetups
See,
really, that is one thing. The second part is
the
this
other way
could be
to look
like,
at
the
it now,
meetups
see.
could be like a testing ground where you could test organizing events and also build a local speaker.
See, I agree to 100% of it. But if you look at the WordPress ecosystem, right? Do you know the first WordCamp that has happened, 2007 or 2008? After that,
2009 WordCamp India.
2009 it was not. It was not 2009.
It was 2008.
It was not 2009.
It was some year, doesn't matter.
8 or 9.
I'll give you. After that, the next WordCamp happened in 2011-12 when Jabalpur WordCamp happened. See, since Jabalpur WordCamp, I am on all WordCamps. I am one of those, you can say, closed circuit, because initially I was part of almost all there and I was speaking on almost all of them, right? But the thing is, because one after another, you saw the frequency of those WordCamps that has happened. Because of that frequencies, today we have a meetup that is happening. If that WordCamp has not happened, I can tell you right now, this meetup would have not happened.
No, like
this
you
is
said in the
exactly what I'm
beginning,
saying.
like you said in the beginning, a lot of us were dissatisfied with the initial WordCamp.
See, it's not about dissatisfied. See, the group formed because see, you were there as a attendee for at least 3 or 4 of them,
Which is what Alex is saying. Alex is saying that this has happened. So I, Aditya, Alex, you, Rahul, for example, now these are names a lot of people remember. This should not be the case perpetually.
See, I'm not saying it's
Sooner or
what
later,
I'm saying
6
is-
months down the line, Saurabh should be replaced by a
Headstart, right? You
Gaurav.
guys know
Alex
Headstart,
should be
right?
replaced by a Sanat, and Aditya should be replaced by Bachchan or something like that. Yeah.
This exactly will happen once there are frequency of people meeting together.
Yeah.
Meetups may are more time consuming than doing a WordCamp. Okay, I mean,
Which is I think which is
see, so what
which
I'm saying
supports
is,
no, which is true, and it kind of supports the argument that we should have meetups to have a WordCamp.
see, I mean,
If people are willing to
that's
give
what I'm
the
saying.
time and effort.
In India, meetups didn't happen before WordCamp. WordCamp happened, that's why we had meetups. That's not other way around. And Headstart, and I'm giving you an example of Headstart purposely. See, Headstart happens, Startup Saturdays, in 22 cities in country, every second Saturday, right? If you follow their growth, in Pune they had tried earlier, they failed, and now they have again figured it out and they have succeeded now, at least in Pune, they had started success. First time around they failed. Okay. See, the problem is if you're asking someone to do regular investments, right? It might not happen, but once, because of what I'm trying to emphasize is, because of the WordCamps and because we all meet up on various WordCamps and we had a time to discuss, one day just bitching about whatever problems we had, and then we said, hey, let's do something, and let's do something is what is the result of this.
Like I can say.
We've evolved from that.
Exactly.
We've evolved from that.
So now you're basically blocking this from
No,
other
no,
cities.
no. So we don't
You're
want
basically
to.
blocking.
No, we're not.
Because meetups won't happen.
I don't think.
See, Bangalore is trying meetups for like years, right? There's nothing there.
But Pune does have meetups. Like that's what I'm saying. Mumbai does have meetups, which incidentally have nothing to do with the WordCamp. Hyderabad has meetups. I'll tell you what. WordCamp Pune happened in 2013, but the meetup scenes happened pretty recently.
See, one attempt I made, it fizzled out because I was not very active.
Which is what we're saying. So
Exactly, that's
it
what I'm saying.
requires a bunch of people who can be active and can have regular meetups.
And if they are not meeting regularly because someone is not taking initiative, say, so second meetup happened because you took tremendous amount of efforts to make it happen. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Somebody had to do it.
Exactly. So
Somebody has to do it.
If that frequency was with
It can be
WordCamps
one
also.
person, it can be 2 people. See, I'll tell you what, if I was told that, you can have a WordCamp Pune without doing a meetup, I would just have an event, a conference, something like that. I'll be done with it, might be perfect. But because I've been having these meetups, you have a better idea of things. One more thing I'd like to add is we are way ahead of time. We're way beyond our time. So let's take this offline. We have an after party where this discussion
I would
belongs.
just like to add one point to this. The thing that you're saying that having a restriction of having a meetup, not restriction, whatever, a clause of having a meetup first, and by not allowing them to do a WordCamp, you're blocking opportunity. That's not true. The thing is to get an experience, you can attend the idea is you can attend a different WordCamp to
That's
understand
relative.
or get that point.
No, but these are relative truths. You can't say this is wrong, this is right. Amit is right in his own way because he has a point. I'm not saying you don't have a point. You have a point. But what's being tried here also has a point. The thing is that is something that I think they don't want to do. I'm not sure. No, like Andy said, there is no such hard and fast rule. it's case by case. If a WordCamp can make a case that it requires to be there without a meetup, I'm pretty sure Foundation doesn't have a problem. The go-to rule is that yes, there should be an active community. Maybe at times it serves the city better to have a WordCamp first and then have a community later. We've had that in the past.
And now we have an active community here. I mean, tell me.
We should actually talk about the after party. I think after a drink or two,
Anyway, so